Consider the site at Wallsend, the fort where the end of Hadrian's curtain wall met the river Tyne, the fort the Romans knew as Segedunum. This timeline, produced by Tyne and Weir Archives and Museums Service, gives a sense of the evolution of a single fort site. And remember, the Romans had many forts along the wall. Indeed, they had one approximately every 7.5 miles, or 11.6 kilometers along its length. Here you can see the cultivated landscape that existed even before the Romans arrived. These were farmed lands. The construction of the fort transforms the land, but it transforms the water too, dominating river communications at this point, a vital consideration for the Romans as well, no doubt, as for local users. We're accustomed to speak of Hadrian's Wall as a singular monument, and in one sense, of course, it is. Today's scholars overwhelmingly agree that the wall grew from an initiative of the Emperor Hadrian himself. And there are strong arguments too to suggest that Hadrian, a keen architect, had much to say about its overarching design. Yet while the different structural elements we've encountered were indeed part of a larger complex, it's important to remember that they had their own stories, and that quite different events could be taking place at different sites at the same time. Not only that, but of course each site also had its own pre- and post-Roman history. The fort, built in the 2nd century, is remodelled over time. Many of the buildings it contains are familiar from other Roman forts, but not all of them are, and at least one of the structures at Wallsend appears unique to the site. As elsewhere on the wall, a small settlement can be seen outside the fort. But over time that too fades, and by the end of the early 5th century AD, all this appears to have collapsed, and we have little evidence for further activity on the site. A picture that may be contrasted with other Hadrian's Wall fort sites, where there's much stronger evidence for people continuing to live within the fort walls. With the collapse of the fort, a new landscape takes over. And in time, many centuries after Hadrian, Wallsend becomes famed for something quite different, for its pioneering coal mines and for the world-famous Swan Hunter shipyard. All these developments take their toll on the archaeological remains, and indeed the construction of a slipway for the Swan Hunter yard led to the destruction of the easternmost tip of Hadrian's Wall.